Hello there everyone, welcome to a video in which I collect, or at least try to collect, my thoughts and concerns regarding modern controls in Street Fighter 6. I've been talking about modern controls for a while. If you've been watching my streams, you know this topic comes up quite a bit, so I thought I should finally actually formalize my thoughts and put it into a video proper before Street Fighter 6 comes out. Keep in mind, like I said, I am making this video before Street Fighter 6 comes out. It's still a couple of days away, and so if you're watching this in the future, it might actually be kind of funny because modern controls might be something that don't need to be worried about at all, right? Modern controls might actually end up being perfectly balanced and not a big deal at all. But I wanted to make this video anyway, just in case, because I'm wary about its inclusion, and I've noticed that there has been a lot of misconception going around against the anti-modern rhetoric, and also I've noticed a lot of strawmanning going on against people like myself because they just assume we hate the auto combos or something, but I'm actually not going to talk about the auto combos at all in this video. It's actually about other things. So before I get into my concerns with modern controls, let me just explain what they are in case you have only been hearing about it from other people, right? Or in case you forgot. So originally, the pitch of modern controls was that you could do easy inputs for the special moves at the cost of you doing 20% less damage. So for example, I'm going to use a pad here just so that way you guys can see what I'm doing. Normally I would be using a stick or a snack box more recently, but I'm doing this because I have square as light, triangle as medium, O as heavy, and X as the dedicated special button, as you can see. So you can hit a one button special, right? That's a Hadouken. You can do a one-button Shoryuken, which is a bit more concerning, right? So the big things that people are worried about is the reactions, right? Are the reactions, because you can do a one-button anti-air, and you can also do a one-button super. If I remember where I mapped my super, here it is. So these one-button supers are going to allow you to react to things that would otherwise be unreactable sometimes, right? And this will be particularly strong in burnout situations, because in burnout, your only answer against stopping a drive impact other than jumping or throwing them out of it is to do a super, right? And if you're playing on Classic, you might not be able to buffer the super fast enough, right? So, to put simply, the original pitch of modern controls was that you are trading some damage for ease of use, right? You're trading some damage for one-button specials and supers. And if that were it, that would by itself be worth discussing, right? Even if it were just that, that would merit some discussion on whether or not that's balanced, right? But it's not just that. So I, along with many others, thought that's all there was to it originally. But since then, a lot of people have discovered that in modern controls, you're not just limited to the one-button specials with a damage reduction. You can also manually input the specials. So as you can see here, I'm manually inputting a fireball motion, right? And this is what I see a lot of people overlook, right? So some people who are pro-modern controls might hear some naysayers like myself and think, oh, you just don't want the easy inputs. You just don't want the auto combos, right? I even remember how to do the auto combos. Yeah, like this. So that's not the concern at all. The concern is that the trade-off with modern was originally pitched to be less damage, easier moves, right? But you really get the best of both worlds with modern like this, because not only can you do the special moves to get the normal damage, but you have access to all levels. So for example, if you're doing the one button special, I don't know if you can notice this just by looking, but this is the heavy Hadouken, okay? Notice the speed of the Hadouken. And now if I manually input Hadouken, that's a light, which should be noticeably slower, and then a medium is a little bit faster, and manually inputting a heavy will be synonymous with the speed of the one button. Maybe it'll be more noticeable if I do the DP here. So this is the one button DP. This is a heavy DP. But if you manually input it, you get light. As you can see, that's a different animation, medium, and heavy. So if you're playing modern controls at high level, you are going to go for the manual input whenever you can, right? If you're in the middle of a combo, you would do the manual input to maximize your damage. And even in neutral, if you are able to react early enough, you would manually input the move to get the maximum amount of damage, right? So the majority of the time, you would be getting the normal damage that you would be getting with classic controls. But additionally, you have the option to do one-button reactions if you don't have time to buffer. So you would still get the damage from classic controls, but you have access to a one-button super to beat Drive Impact, for example, right? And that's the concerning part for me, because it makes it seem as if Modern would be objectively better. However, keep in mind, there is still some drawback. So I didn't mention this yet in the video, but you probably already know that in addition to the damage reduction from the one-button specials in Modern controls, is that the other main drawback is that because it is a 4-button game now, light, medium, heavy, special, instead of a 6-button game with light, medium, heavy punch, light, medium, heavy kick, naturally and expectedly, you are not going to get access to all of your buttons. You're not going to get access to all of your normals or command normals. They do try to include most of them because there's an auto button you can hold down, and while holding down the auto button, it modifies your light, medium, and heavy. So for example, light would normally be light punch, but if you're holding auto, it gives you light kick, right? So they're able to give you access to most of your buttons, but you're going to be missing some normals and command normals. For example, I might be wrong. I can't open a command list here. I'm not actually using the training mode. I'm using the demo right now, so bear with me. But I'm pretty sure Ryu is missing his back heavy punch. Yeah, because right now, if you hold back and heavy, you get back heavy kick, or what would be back heavy kick in classic. And auto heavy is this. Yeah, so I think he's missing his back heavy punch command normal, for example. But regardless, my point is that characters on Modern are going to be missing some normals and some command normals, which should be obvious to you that it's going to be a very case-by-case situation in terms of who has a bigger drawback with Modern. For example, Guile is missing one of his most valuable command normals with Modern controls. So I don't think many people are going to be playing Modern Guile. In Guile's case, classic Guile might be objectively better. But again, this is going to be case by case, right? So for example, Luke, a lot of people are convinced that Luke isn't really missing any super valuable moves in Modern. So Luke might actually benefit a lot more in Modern than a lot of other characters. So anyways, my point is that the original pitch of Modern controls was that you would be trading some damage for ease of use. But in reality, the actual trade-off is one-button supers and anti-airs for maybe a few less normals or command normals. That's really the trade-off, because like I said, you can always manually input the buttons or manually input the special moves with Modern for normal damage. So the damage reduction with the one-button specials is not a drawback at all. It's literally just another option. Anyways, I hope I made my case clear, and let me know in the comments if you also share my concerns or if you think I'm worried about nothing, because I'm sure this will be a funny video later on once the game has been out for a while, because regardless of how balanced or unbalanced the Modern controls are at launch, I'm sure they will eventually be balanced out. Just please understand where I'm coming from, because I actually find it fun to do motion inputs, right? And my biggest concern is that for some characters, Modern controls will be objectively better. So for example, I want to play Zangief, and I like doing 360-degree inputs. I like doing 720 inputs, right? And so if a Modern Zangief ends up being objectively better, I'm going to have to play the Modern Zangief, but I don't think it'll be as fun doing a one-button SBD compared to doing 360 inputs every time. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you all later. So bye for now.